So don't question me about my thing, just do your thing and be cool. Cause I know exactly whose I am, don't worry about it, homie, do you. Cause I've been rapping for a minute now. Used to walk around dead, but I'm living now. I'm just being myself, and evidently people gon' hate when you coming with a different sound. So don't question me about my thing, just do your thing and be cool. Cause I know exactly whose I am, don't worry about it, homie, do you. Cause I've been rapping for a minute now. Used to walk around dead, but I'm living now. I'm just being myself, and evidently people gon'
Tokers, jokers, and smokers, it's your man, Chef Rodface here, back in the building with another edition of the Daily Chronicles. Y'all, I'm here with my man, Loudpack Slim. Loudpack, welcome to the show, my dude.
I'm honored. Thank you for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. This is, it's like a running thing, man. It's like a running thing. It's like we tried to go a first time and then technical difficulties and then the brilliance happens again. So, yeah, here we go, man. Here we go. So, do me a favor. Let's kind of tell the people out there in the internet land, who is Loudpack Slim? Where'd that come from, dog?
Well, the name Loudpack Slim actually started back in my 11th grade year of high school, 1995.
Whew.
Time. And I was just known by that one guy in school that, could always find a loud ass pack. And everybody was already calling me Slim. So it just kind of fit that I had to find a way to just bring it all together and make it catchy. And so when it came time to actually don a nickname, that's what I came up with. And everybody just went crazy. They were like, that's it. That's it. Loudpack Slim. That's perfect. Been rocking it ever since.
Just ever since that day, it's just been, I am Loudpack Slim. I'm going to get that shit changed.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's, it's funny because, like, dude, we'll get to nicknames in a second. Sorry, yeah, I smoke a little weed, but we'll get to the nicknames in a second. Tell the people kind of like what it is that you do. Like, I've seen your logos. I've seen, the Loudpack network. I've heard about Loudpack Slim. Like, obviously we've connected. We've run into each other a few times here and there and talked a little bit. But, like, everybody's like, that's great. That's cool. That's an awesome nickname. It's an awesome story. But what does he do? So, man, tell the people, what do you do?
Well, if I was going to sum it all up in a nutshell, my job is to become the ultimate middleman for all middlemen for all time, once and for all. I remember what it was like when I was just a regular consumer many years ago. It was so hard to find in the first place because it was still illegal then.
Right.
And then on top of that, everybody is middling everybody else.
Right.
And when the legislation started to change for us, I saw an opportunity to not only bring myself into the forefront as a legitimate business entity for the cannabis culture in this region of the country, but to also build a network that would offer that same liberty and luxury to everybody I deal with all at once for everybody across the nation to see.
Okay, so, I've got a couple of questions here. So, first things first, man, when I hear, you say you want to be the middleman, not a lot of people do that. And, in a good course of business, it doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. The middleman always usually gets cut out, you understand? So why would you want to do like a practice such as that? Why would you be like, you know what, that's fine, but that's the hole that I want to extort. That's the loophole I want. That's what I want to do. Why would you pick, a quote unquote bad business model such as that? You know what I'm saying? I like it, but like, help me make it make sense.
Well, forming a middleman conglomerate of this magnitude ensures that the little guy never gets overlooked, never gets disregarded, because I bring everybody to the table at the same time. We eat from the same plate, from the same table at the same time. That's the only way it works.
Okay.
And so all I have to do is ensure that a quality standard is put in place, not just for the products and the customer relations, but for every facet of the industry for us. Logistics, distribution, administrative needs, web services, whatever you need, the Loud Network will become a clearinghouse for
Okay.
whatever you need, regardless of how big or how small, regardless of color. None of that shit matters, because the only thing that matters is the cannabis. That's the glue that holds us all together. If we lose sight of that,
Yeah, you know, and more to that point, there are a lot that, you know, a lot of people who have lost sight of that. And it's all about that other green, you know, that other form of currency, that other, you know, happiness in the world. I've noticed that as it progresses in Michigan, as cannabis, you know, remains legal, I've noticed that there are a lot of people who will claim razor thin margins, which, okay, yep, cool, and then hold that same razor to your throat. Now, maybe that's the pandemic, but look at the money and business and just, you know, good things that have happened during COVID with cannabis involved, you know, and whether you believe in one or the other, it doesn't matter, you know. They're both sadly more than likely here to stay, you know. I can assure you that cannabis isn't going anywhere. I can't speak on COVID because I'm not a fucking scientist or a doctor, but the fact is, you know, we just kind of have to like go with the punches here, you know, at the same time. Now, there's nothing that these corporations can do with the black market. That's never, I don't care what, you know, the underground market, sorry, you know, not to you know, be an asshole or anything, but it's kind of like, they can't touch it, you know. It's that's the point. They're trying to go after the caregivers because they understand that the underground market, black market, whatever you want to call it, whatever connotation you want to give it, they understand that they can't directly attack it, okay? So they're going to attack, like, you know, their friends, their allies and stuff. Well, here's the thing. We have created this legal market on the backs of caregivers here in Michigan, you know, based off medical patients, you know, and everything of the sort. That's artisan, that's craft, you know, that's, if you want some damn good weed, y'all come to Michigan. That's the truth, you know. Furthering that point, I think that people like you are needed for sure, because although like people were like, oh, no, just cut out the middleman, I want a direct supply. Here's the thing, with the amount of people in the world doing this, let alone the amount of people who want to make money off of people that smoke weed or whatever have you, any kind of new addition is going to get fucked with, and fucked with hard. Let me make my point real quick. What video game do you remember back when we were younger or anything of that nature, did you have to, wait for patch notes? Or no, you bought a complete video game. When you bought it, you popped it in your system. You might have to upload it a little bit here and there, but you played it and it was done. You know, that's the truth of it, okay? Nowadays, there's so much saturation in every different market, video games to cannabis, that there's so many people in these markets and so much, you know, money to be made, to be spent, everything, that you need support from all facets. So I think that aligns 100%, if not 1,000%, with, you know, my ideology of cannabis having three facets. You've got your art, your home grow, your home brew, you know, just like beer. You've got your craft breweries. Are you kidding me? Craft beers, like you can't go to any store in Michigan that sells alcohol and not find craft beer on the shelf. And then you have your corporate. Again, corporate beers there as well. You understand? As long as those two don't attack each other, we're all good. Okay. Now, tell me a little bit about how you felt, because you're Grand Rapids, right?
Yeah.
So how do you feel about these corporate places popping up?
I find it amusing, actually. Okay. As long as people like me, who excel in the art of networking and diplomacy, are in place, it wouldn't matter if they popped another corporate store up every week for the next 10 years. You're never going to be able to service the people the way that the people service the people. And Loudpack Slim, as a figurehead, embodies the voice of the people, not the voice of keeping my personal pockets tight and making sure my buddies eat and then everybody else off. No, that's not how.
I agree with all of that, The one part that I don't agree with is the fact that for some reason you reiterated servicing the people, and I just can't get that image of people servicing people out of my head. There's some people I don't want to see that from. You understand? Like that was it. I'm just kidding. I think that that's brilliant, man. It's a community. What's that old adage? It takes a village to raise a child, or something of that nature.
Mm.
We've become too accustomed to fucking each other over that it's not even funny. I find it disgusting, rather.
That's why the mantra of my whole initiative is LOM, love over money. So long as love is the underlying factor of everything that we do for this culture, all we can do is flourish and expand infinitely in every direction at once.
I mean, it's like the Big Bang, if you believe in that,
And for the state of Michigan, per se, Grand Rapids is the metropolis. So if you can stake your flag in the ground here firmly and you don't have to uproot, you're not going to get a better influx of money in any other city in this state.
I'm inclined to believe and agree with most of that. I don't think that Grand Rapids is a metropolis. I believe that Grand Rapids is fastly becoming a metropolis, so I want to make that, change, because I got a lot of people in Detroit that would argue that a different view. They're like, okay, you know what I mean? And everyone has valid points. I just want to, tweak it a little bit so that the view is not skewed there and it don't offend anybody. And because real talk though, Detroit's on the map first with almost anything. You know what I mean? Yeah. Except for weed. But that's only because Lansing's on the map, because that's where the fucking bills and shit were voted. So it's like, obviously that makes sense. But Detroit's popping off, But Grand Rapids, right behind it.
Yes, I agree 100%.
So what's the scene like, out there? I'm not out there too often. I'm not, perusing the streets or shit like that. I've been out there quite a bit. But, I've never really been able to sit down and be like, hey, how hard is it to go get a joint? What's going on? Like, give me the scoop.
Well, it's a double-sided coin. On one side of the coin, as a consumer, you can do no wrong so long as you know what calls to make.
Right.
But being on the logistical or the business side of that coin, I'm going to be honest with you, man. It looks a bit like the Old West.
Okay.
A bunch of desperados and coyotes, then everybody's just slashing each other's throats to see who can lace their pockets the best for the weekend.
That sounds like the cannabis industry, bro.
Yeah. And
you know what I mean? Like, that's the truth of it.
Yeah. And unfortunately, if it were not for the efforts of people like me and including me, a lot of top quality craft cultivars would completely be overlooked and disregarded, when truth be told, these are some of the very people that put that top grade 20 a gram shit all over the state, and you don't even know it.
Yeah, I feel that. But at the same time, I do believe that has its place. Everything in its place. Mise en place goes deeper. It's in film. Mise en film. You've got mise en life at this point. And everything in its place. It's very prim and proper. It's, one of the first things that I learned picking up a knife. Yeah, I mean, that explains, kind of like the tone. But I want the people, especially, there it is. I want the people that kind of follow my show to get to know Loudpack himself a little bit. So I've got some off the wall fucking questions for you to help, get to know Mr. Loudpack here. So if you're ready, I got a few questions for you.
Shoot.
Let's do it. All right. If you were stranded on an island and you could take one tool with you, you got to be there for like a month, what would you take and why?
One tool?
Just one tool. Like a hatchet. That's kind of like, I was reading that book lately. I was reading through it, got bored, like, gave me the idea.
One tool. The hatchet seems like a wise move. I wouldn't be inclined to disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say a Phillips head screwdriver.
All right, fuck it. I mean, yeah, that'll work. Poke a shark in the face.
So
All
many
right, yeah,
different
here we go.
purposes, whether they're intentional or, impromptu.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna go ahead and like just real quick and playing devil's advocate. It's an island, so if it's an island, there's probably not a lot of fucking screws or rivets or shit like that. So I mean, hatchet makes more sense than a screwdriver. That's all I'm saying. Unless you already know, but at the same time, this is just an island. It's uninhabited. It's a deserted island.
Oh,
You're stranded. Like there ain't shit on it. There ain't shit on it. You're all right.
Oh.
So we're gonna let you smoke that again and switch it from a screwdriver because that wouldn't, you ain't trying to fix no car here. Ain't no car in the island. How the car in the island? You put it there.
Yeah, the hatchet would probably be about the wisest move because you're gonna have to fend for yourself and vegetation and build shelter and
shave maybe if you want to do that. Good luck, Because the first thing that I would do if I took the hatchet, real talk, like I would find, some flint or some rocks or something to make sure I could keep that fucking, sharp. The sharper you keep it, safer it's going to be, and the more you can use it, So that's just me. But, Mr. Loudpack Slim, what is your favorite type of movies? Like, if you were to sit down and, like, watch a movie, like, this is what I'm going to. Like, what are we doing?
Oh,
ain't no question you smoke, but...
If it's based on true events, it's based on a real story, you got me hook, line, and sinker.
Word. All right, cool. Like, you're not one of those people who's like, oh my God, the new serial killer documentary came out. I gotta watch this. Is that you?
Those assholes were all killers back 50 or 60 years ago when the federal government had absolutely no technology for law enforcement. Everybody literally had to go cold canvassing door to door in neighborhoods. So none of that shit is applicable in 21st century America, period. And that's not to impugn the infamy of the John Wayne Gacy's and the Ted Bundys and the Richard Ramirez's and all of those. Okay, you got your moment in infamy. We get it. But that shit was 40, 50 years ago. You could never do no shit like that today.
Yeah, you would get shot pretty quick doing that today. Like people don't really fuck around.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So what's your go-to cannabis strain? Like, are you sativa indica? None of that shit really matters to me. None of that shit really actually matters. It's different for each person. It's all about the terpenes. We know that.
Yeah.
But what's your go-to strain?
It's funny you say that because right now I literally have 73 specimens on my menu. But if I had to whittle them all down to just one, like old reliable, I'm gonna go with spoiled milk.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Some of these names, man, I'll tell you. Wait, spoiled milk. Okay, okay. I mean, I guess I do have a band that's called Rancid. That makes sense. So, tell me, what does spoiled milk taste like?
It is a cross between GMO, aka rock garlic, and cereal milk. So all of that
spoiled milk.
Yeah, it's really gnarly. And I'm just telling you, from the moment you break the nug down, you catch a whiff, and those terpenes lock on your palate, and it doesn't even matter. You're smelling it and enjoying it as you're breaking it down, and then as soon as you light it, it immediately saturates your whole palate, and you just coast. Really high up there, but you just...
Oh, yeah, no. I love every bit of that. I love everything I'm hearing. And just in my head, having smoked before we did this show, I'm just imagining someone drinking spoiled milk, and it's like, it's so good, and it's not. They're just in tears. They're just like, no, please don't make me do this, but I have to. I don't know. I'm an idiot. All right, cool, bet. Like, where can people get spoiled milk? Is that just something that you've got kind of like on the DL, or like, where can they find it in the dispensary?
Dispensaries? No.
So you're not. It's not going to something you're going to find in shelves. Okay.
You're sniffing around at Flourish and 315 and such. No.
You should never go to those stores, regardless. But that's just my personal opinion.
But, you get involved with my network. I guarantee you, I can get you to the source. That's no problem at all.
We'll show you the spoiled milk. Nobody cried cleaning it up.
Oh yeah.
What's your favorite way to smoke? Obviously, you're hitting that bong. So bongs, yeah. All right, bet. All right. I don't know, man. I turned on the dabs. Like I remember we talked a while back. We smoked that joint. We was kicking it a little bit there in Grand Rapids at SPM, and shout out SPM. Um, but I'm a dab person now. Like, don't get me wrong. I'll roll a fucking fat, fucking 2 gram, 3 gram and J. Like that's cone, flash it out. I'm not worried about that. And like make some fucking food. But at the same time, like I cannot do fucking blunts. I'll smoke, but bongs, the whole nine, everything. But dabs is where it's at because that takes you really high, really quick, and it's like it's not that bad to drop down from, and there's no combustion, so it's really good for my asthmatic lungs.
Yeah.
I dig that.
You have respiratory complications of any kind.
Mm-hmm.
Blunts is probably the worst shit for you to do.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, like I did grow up smoking blunts, but not on purpose. You know what I mean? Like when you work in kitchens, it's just kind of like, hey man, bam, bam, and when they pass it, you ain't gonna ask questions. It's a free fucking blunt. You know what I mean? Like I gotta go back to work. Like this shit sucks. But at the same time, I feel that, man. Now, have you always lived in Grand Rapids?
No. My family moved to Michigan in '93.
Where?
Pennsylvania, by way of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Okay. Stand up. North side, we see y'all.
I got a lot of friends out that way. A lot of friends out that way. A lot of friends I'll be seeing soon out that way, actually. That's what's up, man. But like, so Grand Rapids, you've seen it change over the years. There it is. Steelers. Roethlisberger just retired, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, Ben.
Black and yellow. Anyways, so Grand Rapids has come up. It's kind of it's definitely metropolizing. I will say that. That's not even a word, but we're gonna use it. So, but the suburbs and like the little hollows and like the towns outside of Grand Rapids that makes up like Grand Rapids metro area. That shit's still new to me. I'm like, this is a town? They're like, yeah, this is technically blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why? Like, I've been on the same road for like 7 miles now. Why is this? It is what it is. But, the point I'm trying to make is Grand Rapids is there. Okay. There's a lot of shit going on in Grand Rapids. I love Grand Rapids. There's a lot of good restaurants. There's a lot of, with COVID, we've lost some shit for sure. But there's a lot of good sightseeing. Fuck it. If you play Pokemon Go smoke, do a dab, smoke a joint, walk around, bro. Seriously. If you could see
my neighborhood do that dumbass shit, I be watching their phone. Look, I'm like, man, please tell me they're not out there playing Pokemon Go. It's like 5 degrees outside. Please
worst dating app ever.
Oh my God.
No, I was one of those people. I grew up on Pokemon. I still play Pokemon. I got my Switch upstairs, and that's it. You're not taking that away from me. I'm sorry. Leave me the fuck alone. Like, I ain't hurting you. It's a video game. You're mad about a video game. All right, cool. I'm going to be mad that, you slapped your mom in the face, but we ain't going to talk about that. You know what I mean? Like, It is what it is. If you could see Grand Rapids, like, in the next 10 years, like, if you were, like, in a perfect world, this is how I would see my Grand Rapids, like, cannabis-wise, what would that be and why?
Grand Rapids will be the home to the first cannabis-friendly hotel.
Okay.
And it will be duly noted as called the Loudpack Lodge.
Loudpack Lodge, huh? Okay. Well,
yep.
I've got some friends that are doing that in Arizona, so we might just pass that along to them. We'll see what they say. I'm sure they'll say what's up. Grand Rapids is a good place to start. I'll be honest with you. It's a good place to start.
And I'll blow this bitch up like a volcano.
Blow this bitch up like a volcano. Like that's... Yep. I'm with it. I fucking love it, man. That's pretty legit. Like, what did you do before cannabis? Like, did you do anything else, or like what's the scope?
Well, it was a lot of odds and ends. I gave college a shot. But I wasn't really serious about it. You know, I wanted to try to pad my resume, thinking that would make me more marketable for the job market. And it just seemed like the harder I dug in, the
Hmm.
more resistance I was met with.
Right.
And one day, after about, this must have been about maybe 3 years ago, I found myself literally, I broke down and I emptied out my nest egg, which
Hmm.
wasn't to speak of. But I went and I filed LLC paperwork to found LPS 420 Holdings,
Get
uh,
it.
and I think I started off with maybe 3 or 4 grams and $25 in my $30 in my pocket, a little over 2 years ago, and that's where we're at with it now.
That's that. Yes, yes, sir. Like that's a good success story. You know, like you're not there yet, but you took the steps. Like you were like, yo, it costs money for an LLC. I got this. You know, the cash. Like, is it worth the investment? You're investing in you. That's always worth it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, if there's one takeaway from this entire Sonar show right now, always invest in yourself. Period.
you have to, because I can remember how I felt, all those rejections and all those empty
Mhm.
interviews with no callback and no
Mhm.
considerations, just to barely make
Oh, but they saying that nobody wants to work.
I said, you know what? I'm begging these people for work and
Hmm.
I'm barely getting paid. 15 bucks
Hmm.
an hour ain't
Ain't
shit.
shit. That's literally, what is it? $36 an hour you need to be able to afford your own apartment? Are you fucking kidding me? And that's if you don't have any student loans or previous debt.
I love the culture. I love the people. I love the
Yeah.
plant, all equally at the same time. So instead of me pouring all my energy into this workforce that
Hmm.
continually rejects me time after time and just wants to offer me their table scraps,
Make your own damn
flip
workforce.
that coin around and pour my energy into the culture and making sure that the people, the street, get taken care of accordingly.
And it's all
What
about the people.
Why not?
Hmm.
And then yeah, that client list becomes quite lengthy after 2 years of all of this. It went from 3 or 4 cats to about 650 across 16 Michigan cities and 4 other cities outside of Michigan.
That's impressive. That's impressive.
I
That's my point.
myself,
That's
with
a
no,
reach.
just trying to make sure that my infrastructure is solid enough to, with be able to sustain payroll. Because if I can't do that, there's no point in
Right.
even starting it.
Oh, I feel that. I feel that.
It's got to be sustainable, or I'm not going to make the move.
Oh, right. You've always got to, yeah, it's always got to be sustainable. Like if you can't pay for somebody else to jump on and help you do and stuff, or there's not something set up like a commission or a percentage or something, if they're not getting paid or you know, paid for their time or compensated for their time, then I mean, I'm not going to work for you. You know what I mean? So it's just like, that's how it is. Um, there's hours of my life that I've spent doing things that I can't get back. So when I'm on my deathbed, I'm going to beg and plead for those back, but they're gone, and I spent those. So that's on me. I'll settle that debt later. Um, Speaking of settling things, I got one more question. Oh, excuse me, that soda there, or soda, or that pop, depending on where you're at from Michigan. Um, that cold drink, Dr. Pepper. That's what that is. That's not a plug. It's just fucking delicious. But I got one last question for you. So we were talking about, the Loudpack network. We were, I see you on Instagram going live all the time. I got all of that. All of this is fucking great. But what I really want to know, the entire reason I brought you on to kind of sit down and talk to you about this is how did cannabis heal you? Like, what did you get from this? Because there's always a cannabis saved my life type of story. You know what I'm saying? What's yours?
Wow, good one, touche.
Yeah.
Um, well, yeah, I suppose I would have to follow suit with the rest. And yes, cannabis did save my life as well. Uh, the origin of that story dates back to August 28th of 2004. I had made a decision on that morning that I didn't want to just keep doing a bunch of just loose partying, smoking and drinking all the time, back to back, everywhere I went. And so I had to flip a coin, literally. That morning started with me flipping a coin. Heads is going to be the bottle, tails is going to be the bag, but I'm not doing both ever again.
Mm.
And I flipped and it landed tails, and I haven't touched a drop of alcohol since.
Mm.
Not one, not even beer, nothing. All cannabis only.
Mm. That's, I wish I could say the same thing. My story is similar. People have heard it 1,000 times. It wasn't a flip. I did try to just stop drinking cold turkey. Didn't happen. Didn't work. They threw whatever pill you could imagine at me, then some that doesn't even make any goddamn sense. And it wasn't working. It told my doctor to, do some unsatisfactory things. Like, I had some choice words. And, was like, hey, yo, I knew my roommate smoked. It's cool with that. I didn't have an issue with it. He had his card. There's nothing they could say. I asked him, and he obliged, and I never looked back. That's the truth. So I wish it was as simple as flipping a coin for me. But, dude, kudos to you for definitely having that ability to be like, nope, fate said this, if you will, so we're just going to do that.
Well,
how long ago was that?
Cannabis has literally been chipping away at all the loose ends of my life, one piece at a time. First it was the alcohol, right. Then it was the gambling, and then it was just the street running, and then I ended up founding the company. And now it's just like, if it's not positive for the culture and cannabis related at the same time, then you might as well just miss me with that bullshit. I don't even want to. Right. I don't talk about it. Period.
I mean, I feel that, but at the same time, like, there's a lot of bullshit in cannabis too. So we got to remember that. Like, there's a lot of bullshit, but there's bullshit wherever you go, because there's going to be those exact same types of people wherever you go. Clearly, you understand that, because it's just kind of like, well, I see it. Like, don't be an asshole to anybody. It is what it is. I've noticed that, like, you've put in some work. You feel me? Like, every morning, dude, you're going live. You're posting something. Like, you're doing something. And I met up with you. That's just it. You say what you're gonna do. That's the point. A lot of people aren't even used to that shit. If you're like, hey, check it out, I'm gonna do this, I'm speaking it into existence, I'm X, Y, and Z. Why are they mad when you come back and go, yo, check it out, X, and here's Y, and there's Z? You ain't even say nothing. They'd be snooping on your shit, and then boom, they're all mad. Okay, listen, if you're nervous or you're pissed off, I can assure you that it's completely one-sided, because I 100% don't give a shit. That's the point, That's the truth of it, I've had so many people coming at me my entire life because of whatever reason. You and I share a lot of similar views on things. But at the end of the day, though, that's just it. Like, if I needed some help, fam, and I was in Grand Rapids, I'd be calling you. That's my point. And that's what I'm saying, It's the people that like, oh, but, no, I ain't got time to waste. I ain't got no time to waste on this planet. If you do, that's cool. Waste it over there, Now, I want to circle back to something we was talking about, being overlooked a little bit here and there. Like, that's what a nickname does, to kind of bring that back from what we started talking about. Your nickname, Loudpack Slim, like, that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, it rolls. Everybody knows it. It's what's up. People may not even know your government name. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people don't know mine. I'm good with that. Hell, if I smoke enough of the good shit, I won't remember mine. That works out pretty well. But a lot of people, obviously, are going to be like, well, what's Rodface mean? And like I said, we'd get to it. So here it is. Rodface actually started in high school. I played in a couple of bands in high school. I did drums, did some vocals here and there, fun times. And it was interesting because every time that we would take a picture, I just wouldn't eat, not on purpose. I just wouldn't be looking at the camera. And so people were like, you can only see half of his face. And people were like, well, what's his name? And there was a point in time where a lady, and I found this out, I was like, why is everybody started calling me Rodface out of nowhere? Like, what the fuck is this shit? Because, when you put your name on the flyers for the bands and stuff, like, you put your names down and the instrument or whatever, they just put Rodface, and then who the fuck is that? Who? Apparently it's me, and so I got the story. This girl was trying to, say each person that was in the band, because our photo was going into the yearbook in high school. and they didn't know my name. They're like, "That's Rodface." They're like, "We're not putting that in the yearbook." So they had to actually like look me up. I was in math. I was in like algebra 2 or some shit, and I'm sitting there, and I remember that the teacher's phone rang. They didn't have they wouldn't, announce that. If you're going to the office or some shit, they would call, right?
Yeah.
And so the teacher's like, "Hey, they need you in the office." I thought I was in trouble. I was like, "I done fucked up," like I did smoke weed, so maybe they were, here it is. And they're like, "Hey, is this you?" And I'm like, "Yep." That was it. I was like, and I came back to class. I was like, "Oh, wanted, me to ID something." It was interesting, but no, that's where the name came from. I haven't used that name in, dude, over a decade. It's interesting. I love kind of bringing that back today, and
Nice.
Loudpack Slim, kind of that story kind of made me think about it, and that's pretty gnarly to be able to look back at that. And I don't think that that's something I would have had if I was drinking still. I don't think that, I'd have remembered that. But
Probably not.
it is what it is, man. You know what I mean? Now, what are your like in 10 years, where am I going to see Loudpack?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. So just worldwide.
Yes, of course. See, this was
Why
never
not?
just about cementing my name in the cannabis culture. This was also a dual mission: brand advertising.
Okay.
This is all about teaching you how to create your own brand so that you no longer have to be dependent on a system that does not give a fuck about you.
Okay. So if people wanted more information about what it is exactly that you do, some FAQs, or just to kind of pick your brain about like how you could help them or service them, they can go to the website down below, scrolling it. It's www.loudpackleague.com, right?
That is correct.
Boom. And if they're trying to find you anywhere else in social media, you just want to kick them to the Instagram. That's at LoudpackSlim678 on Instagram.
Nice.
Love it, man. Love it. All right, brother. Well, we've actually reached that time again where we're kind of coming to the end of another episode of the Daily Chronicles, my jokers, tokers, and smokers. This has been an amazing episode. Like, I need more like this, kind of reminiscing, hitting them with the wide questions. Like, we need more intimacy like that. So if you guys liked it, give it a thumbs up, share, like, subscribe, all of that fun shit.
Please do.
I'm Chef Rodface. Hey, man, I appreciate it. This is Loudpack Slim. Loud, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. I really appreciate that, man.
Anytime, bro. I fuck with you.
Man, I appreciate you. I really do. Sorry about the internet today, y'all. It is what it is. But yeah, we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.
Stay up.